Hi everyone, so today I'm going to talk about investing for an American who lives overseas. What are the options? So basically there's 3 or 4 options, each which have positives and negatives. So option 1, it might seem like a crass option to pick, but of course you can put policies in your husband or wife's name with all the negatives and positives that brings, right? Number 2, the situation with the IRS and American tax system does mean that more and more Americans, statistically speaking, are giving up their passport, right? There are more Americans who are actually deciding to have another country's passport, especially those Americans who have lived overseas for 25, 30, 35 years, and they're well established in our expat location, in which case it's very easy, right? Because then you're often not considered, legally speaking, American. But let's say you didn't want those 2 options. What are the options? Now, one option is to use companies that have a filing system, or shall we say funds which are accepted by the US IRS. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that tax and investments are 2 separate things, right? Tax can cost a fortune. It's usually separate to investments, but I mean there are some options both on the insurance side and on the investment side which are more than okay for American expats. It's just a bit more confusing. And finally, you can often choose some American onshore options in terms of if you're an expat as an American, it's probably the only nationality or one of the only nationalities where the tax benefits of investing offshore are not clear. For all other nationalities, or at least the major ones, it usually makes sense to invest offshore. Right? If you're a British person, if you're a Belgian person, if you're a Canadian person, if you're an Australian person, if you're living offshore, you should invest offshore. And if you send a lot of money back to your home country, that can actually bring you into tax problems. But with Americans, sometimes investing onshore can make sense. But obviously, if you've been living overseas for like 30 years or something, you might not know an advisor back in America. And also, dealing with overseas Americans has a lot of complexities. So there is no easy option. So I would say the simplest option is to either put it into your partner's name if you trust them, or to use funds which are offshore, but which are IRS compliant. Okay, everyone, I hope that's useful.